Body-breaking submissions, updated tributes to legends of the past, and eye-catching strikes to the face are just a few of the awesome moves these WWE wrestlers are clearly saving for a rainy day. I'm Gareth from What Culture Wrestling, and here are 10 more awesome wrestling moves WWE wrestlers are secretly sitting on. Number 10, Cesaro, Neutralizer. No, not that one. It took a while for Cesaro and his insanely powerful moveset to catch on with the WWE faithful. But once folks figured out they could have a rollicking good time chanting along to each subsequent cycle of the Cesaro swing, the Swiss Superman was off to the races. However, the former United States champion hasn't always relied on the likes of the swing/sharpshooter combination to get the job done in the squared circle. Back when he was plying his trade on the independent scene, the King of Swing tried out a number of finishers, utilizing everything from an Alpamare waterslide to a Lasates lift. Yet his most devastating device during those early days had to be the Neutralizer. And no, we're not talking about the current face-planting finisher in his toolkit of the same name. This submission involves Cesaro taking his opponent's leg, arching it over his neck in a single-legged Boston Crab, before sitting down on their lower back and waiting for the inevitable tap. It's as devastating as it sounds, and would act as another savage string in the SmackDown star's bow should he decide to dust it off again now he's hovering around the main event scene. Number 9, AJ Styles, Styling DDT. We quite honestly could have filled this entire list with frankly ridiculous moves AJ Styles could use but simply chooses not to anymore. In fact, we already have. Yet for the sake of this video, we're gonna focus on one that he did actually initially bring to Vince McMahon's playground, before deciding that he would only use it on super special occasions. It takes a particularly innovative individual to take a move as diluted and run into the ground as the once formidable DDT, and turn it into something both spectacular and devastating. Styles springboards from the second rope, backflips over the poor soul beneath him, catches them in a guillotine, and then drives them into the mat. He's also been known to do this off a barricade from time to time, because why the hell not? Sure, the former WWE champion may not be able to launch himself over the top rope while simultaneously pulling off a shooting star press anymore, but there's nothing stopping him from whacking out this secret weapon a little more often than he currently does. Come on AJ, give us the goods. Number 8, Ricochet, 619. Anyone who has took the time to follow Ricochet's current run within WWE as main event's go-to guy will likely have spotted that the star doesn't risk his life for our entertainment as frequently as he used to when performing on the indies or even as part of NXT. Simply put, if next to nobody is watching, why whack out 630 splashes and double moonsaults like they're going out of fashion? Yet there is another crowd-pleasing move in the former North American champion's back pocket which he doesn't use as often as he could, and would not involve him flipping inside out to execute on a weekly basis. Clearly taking inspiration from the greatest high flyer to ever live, Rey Mysterio, Slick Rick has been known to pull off his own version of the 619 on occasion. On the independent scene, the one and only went one further though, completely bypassing the space between the top and middle rope and just launching himself over the highest cable to smack his opponent in the back of the skull. It's just good stuff. Reinstating his 619 may even result in him getting booked on Raw again, but don't get your hopes up. Number 7, Sami Zayn, Brainbuster! Perhaps the most noticeable change to Sami Zayn's character when he decided to leave his old El Generico moniker behind upon signing with NXT in 2013, aside from the obvious lack of unmistakable mask, was the decision to hang up his beloved indie finishing move alongside it. On top of being a commentator's dream to call as he drilled his adversary's skull into the top turnbuckle, Generico's Brainbuster felt like the sort of move that would genuinely result in an opponent not being able to continue, and never failed to pop a crowd due to its sheer beauty. The idea of dropping a wrestler on their head, that high above the ring no less, was no doubt something WWE higher-ups weren't massively keen on, so the equally effective Helluva Kick was substituted in to great effect. That being said, Sami has been known to whack out the odd altered Brainbuster from time to time on the main roster, with the star even recently smashing Daniel Bryan headfirst on the apron in a moment that was no doubt laced into the pair's match as a knowing nod to Zayn's past. That's the kind of tribute I can get on board with. Number 6. Candice LeRae, Poison Rana. For a star whose nickname is quite literally the Poison Pixie, it's rather surprising Candice LeRae hasn't pulled this rather nutty attack out on the Black and Gold brand in recent times. Now, it's not as if LeRae has held back on unleashing some pretty astonishing moves during her time in NXT, as seen in her willingness to whack out springboard moonsaults and frequently throw her body off of tall structures. Yet, for some reason, the current NXT Women's Tag Team Champion has refrained from utilizing her sickening Poison Rana. Again, it's not like Johnny Gargano's better half is lost for effective ways of sealing the deal, with her wicked stepsister finisher being one of the most dynamic and brutal you'll currently find on Tuesday nights. Number 5. Cameron Grimes, Orange Crush. Before he was preparing for a trip to the moon or making savvy investments online, Cameron Grimes went by the name of Trevor Lee outside of WWE and found himself routinely bringing down the house with his unique brand of offense. Not an awful lot has changed then. One major part of said arsenal has seemingly gone missing in recent times, however, as Grimes has depended more on his insane running Spanish fly and cave-in to complement his frequently outstanding character work outside of the squared circle. This forgotten finisher comes in the form of the Orange Crush, a vertical suplex that transitions into a powerbomb in midair. Perhaps sensing that he'd be coming up against bigger and harder to lift fish in the land of the giants, the Orange Crush has gone walkabout for the most part when it comes to the Grimes persona the former Impact and indie star is donning today. We're not denying that witnessing folks consistently be caved in by the star's vicious double stop is visually pleasing, but perhaps the odd Orange Crush on a star of a similar stature could add another gloriously venomous layer to his already dazzling gimmick. Number 4. John Morrison, L-Kick. Honestly, how wasted is John Morrison at this current moment in time? Just a brief skim through the star's impressive work away from Vince McMahon's empire will give you an idea of just how unbelievably creative and downright talented the former Impact, AAA Mega and Lucha Underground champion actually is. Infusing the likes of parkour and capoeira into his in-ring style, Morrison has been known to pull off this seemingly unimaginable. Yet while he's still been known to execute his mind-boggling Starship Pain finisher during his current WWE run, another effortlessly cool maneuver of his is yet to make a much-wanted comeback. Upon having one of his trademark kicks caught by his opponent and his foot thrown down to the mat, Morrison has the ability to throw an arm down, balance on it, and let loose a wicked L-kick / Obatido on the foolish person stood before him. The sooner he smashes Miz in the face with this and gets that main event push, the better. Number 3. Kyle O'Reilly, Regalplex. For the majority of his WWE career thus far, Kyle O'Reilly found himself lining up alongside his fellow Undisputed Era buddies on the Black and Gold brand. TakeOver Vengeance Day saw that allegiance come to a dramatic end, however, and Cool Kyle has been trying to see off Adam Cole and simultaneously forge his own singles legacy in NXT ever since. During his TakeOver Stand and Deliver grudge match with the aforementioned former NXT champion, O'Reilly unveiled a new flying knee finisher off the top rope, a move that has since gone on to earn the one-time NXT Tag Team Champion a couple of important victories. But if he really wants to set the developmental world on fire, perhaps the denim-wearing BJJ expert should dig a little deeper into his toolkit. Whilst colliding with some of the finest talents the industry had to offer on the independent scene, that place again, O'Reilly would often rely on a Regalplex made famous by NXT's very own general manager to set the stage for victory. There's nothing stopping O'Reilly calling on his old reverse capture suplex again going forward, and shocking the system in the process. Haha! Number 2. Apollo Crews, Tombstone Piledriver. Look, there's a reason some of the more spectacular moves ever to grace a wrestling ring don't find themselves on WWE programming each and every week. Not everyone has the ability to safely perform these stunning feats. That likely explains why we haven't seen Apollo Crews whack out his frankly outrageous version of The Undertaker's legendary Tombstone Piledriver during his time with WWE. Catching an opponent with their hands between their legs while stood behind them, the former Uhaa Nation would then yank said rival's arms, and the momentum landed them in a precarious RIP pending position. A second or two later, his opponent was staring up at the lights, wondering what in the hell just hit them. Number 1. Seth Rollins, Spaceman Moonsault Plancher. When Seth Rollins first burst onto the main roster scene as part of The Shield, the Architect was known as the high-flying wildcard of the group. Yet as he slowly transitioned into an out-and-out singles performer on Raw and SmackDown, and eventually a fully fledged main eventer, later, Rollins began to kiss goodbye to a bit of his more high-risk artillery. At 35 years old though, Rollins is by no means over the hill. So perhaps it's time to give Tyler Black a call and see if he's up for unearthing some of his greatest hits. Among the many high-octane weapons the former WWE World Champion utilized during his Ring of Honor days, one of the most formidable and striking was his Spaceman moonsault plancher over the top rope to the outside. Resembling the phenomenal one as he soared back first through the air, we're not suggesting he whack it out every week on SmackDown, but as part of a WrestleMania showcase match, this move would almost guarantee Rollins a pop to rival his heist of the century. And that is saying something. And that's our list. Know of any other awesome wrestling moves WWE wrestlers are secretly sitting on? Let us know all about them in the comment section right down below, and do not forget to like, share, and go and click on that subscribe button. Also, be sure to head on over to whatculture.com and find some more incredible articles just like the one this video you're watching is based on. I've been Gareth from What Culture Wrestling. Thank you as always for clicking on this video today, and I'm sure I'll see you very, very soon. Bye-bye!